Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and you join us here today with the all-new 2026 Toyota RAV4. With over 470,000 units sold just in the United States in 2025, the Toyota RAV4 is an incredibly important vehicle for both Toyota and buyers as well. Everyone loves them. They are safe, they are efficient, they are practical, and they get the job done, especially in the long term with reliability. And this all-new 2026 version aims to improve in a lot of areas, from the interior to it now being a hybrid only. Toyota is offering a lot more value for you as a consumer and offering a lot more choices with an expanded lineup and some fresh new designs as well. And of course, in this video, I'm going to take you all on an in-depth tour and review of all the new features of this 2026 RAV4, why you should definitely still consider it if you're looking for a vehicle in this segment, and does it really stand out strong enough against its hot competitors from the Subaru Forester to the Mazda CX-5, the updated Volkswagen Tiguan, just to name a few. We've been driving this car for the past week, living with it, experiencing it, seeing all the things we love or may need some more improvement, and I'm going to tell you all of that right now. Let's go dive in. Now, of course, the biggest news with the RAV4 this generation is that it's hybrid only. So popping open the hood, you're only going to find a hybrid engine in all 2026 Toyota RAV4s. And yes, this one still has a traditional hood prop design, but it's a pretty decently powerful powertrain for this 2026 generation. If you're going for the models above the entry-level ones, you're going to get 236 horsepower, which is pretty potent, and that is paired with this 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine and 3 electric motors to give you all-wheel drive. Now, the rear axle is powered by 2 electric motors. There's no physical connection between this front engine and that rear axle, so it's a little bit of an interesting setup, but we've seen it from Toyota before. And of course, the front end is powered with their eCVT, which is their electronic continuously variable planetary gear set transmission. It's not a typical CVT that we have with those spinning bands. There's actual gear sets going on in there. It's very different and honestly much more reliable. And this whole powertrain is really aimed at both being efficient and reliable with well over 40 miles per gallon, which is really impressive. And of course, you can also opt to go for the plug-in hybrid versions of these RAV4 as well, which are still on offer and actually get more power for this latest generation, which is pretty impressive. And what's also really impressive is this vehicle somehow aims to be under 4,000 pounds with its curb weight. Pretty nice to see, in these modern day vehicles are getting really heavy. Toyota's keeping it a little bit more light, slim, and trim. That also aids in the driving dynamics as well, which we'll get to later on. And this RAV4, if you are still considering towing, you can still tow up to around 3,500 pounds, which is great. But this is not a ground up new architecture for this generation. This is still the TNGA-K architecture we've seen from Toyota. It has been heavily updated though for this generation. Now, of course, one of the major changes with this generation of RAV4 is the all-new exterior design language, and there's quite a lot to talk about here. On the front fascia, it's very different than before. Before we had a very distinctive front grille. Now we have a smooth front fascia over here, very in line with Toyota's latest design language. And that means we have these very bright C-shaped LED headlights over here, which look quite cool. And the grille is now body colored and integrated with the front end. This does change though, depending on what model or trim you get. If you go for the Adventure Ready Woodlands trim, you're going to get a little bit more of a rugged front fascia. Or if you go for the Sporty GR Sport variant, you're going to get a sporty front fascia that looks quite nice as well. This limited trim is very more reserved in its design language, of some subtle silver style accents in the bottom, and we're also getting really bright LED fog lights on this particular one as well. And this storm cloud paint finish is also quite nice as well, and it fits in with the very stormy weather we're having on this hot summer day. Also, great things we're getting on this limited trim are these blacked out painted side mirrors as well, which is quite nice. We also are getting a really large, even larger panoramic glass roof for this generation. This one's getting the crossbars as well, which is really great. And the rear end is a nice new touch for this generation with these really bold LED taillights. But the overall shape and the size of the proportions of this exterior of this RAV4 are largely the same. The wheelbase is the same, and overall all the dimensions are largely the same, as that has not changed too much for this generation. We also are getting 18-inch wheels on this particular limited trim as well, which I think look okay. You can actually upgrade your wheels for this particular limited trim if you would like, though this is probably going to be the best fuel economy scenario since you're going with that smaller wheel, a little bit better in terms of aerodynamics and overall efficiency. Now, even though this current generation RAV4 has around 8.1 inches of ground clearance. I'm really happy to report that their new trunk on this generation still has a really nice low load floor. This is going to help getting things in and out of the trunk really easily. And one cool thing that I've noticed back here is the Toyota badge is really, really tiny. And we saw this way back when on the Toyota Crown Signia when we reviewed that vehicle. This is just an interesting touch. And they also blacked it out. It's almost as if they're really emphasizing the RAV4 over the Toyota name here, which is pretty interesting. Nonetheless, let's pop open our trunk over here. We have some very subtle badging on the trunk. We have a power tailgate on this particular limited trim, which is quite nice. And the trunk space is still pretty big in these RAV4s. It hasn't really, again, changed too much. I think it's just around 37 cubic feet behind this second row. Fold down that second row, you're gonna get well around 70 cubic feet of cargo space, which is really impressive. And you can just see how tall and wide and low this opening is. This is, again, gonna make loading things into your RAV4 really easy. Opening up our floor panel over here, we're also gonna find a spare tire, which is a great thing to see. Even though this vehicle is a hybrid, they're still able to fit a decent sized spare tire in the back trunk over here, which is great. We're also going to find a speaker as part of our JBL audio system in this particular one. This one also has a cargo cover, as we can see right here, that snaps right back for you really easily, and some additional side cargo storage, which is nice. We don't have any lighting on the actual trunk over here, but what is cool and an option on this one is we have this really bright LED lighting on these upper side panels over here. And I like how they're angled inwards to give the whole kind of cargo space this nice illumination, especially at night, so you can actually see what you're loading in and out of your RAV4's trunk, which is pretty cool. And again, this is a power tailgate, so we can pop our button up, down, and it will close itself nice and easily. And I really like the rear end design of this RAV4. I like the spoiler integrated up here. We're also getting a digital rear view camera as well, which is hidden behind the glass, which is easy to clean since your wiper goes over that section. So it's pretty simple to wipe off if it ever does get dirty, as it is protected by this upper spoiler as well. And the overall design, I think, is pretty clean. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Let's go hop inside of the all-new 2026 Toyota RAV4. We have a very familiar Toyota key fob here. It does say RAV4 on it, which is rather nice. And I do have a few other key options as well. And we're going to check out the rear seats first. So opening up this rear door here, we'll see how wide it opens. Okay, not a total 90-degree angle, which I always say is the best to get kids or car seats in and out of the rear seats, but it's still, I would say, a wide enough opening. But here on the rear door panels here, we're gonna see we have a new material up here, which is a little bit soft touch, maybe on the harder side, but this whole material here and this limited trim is very nice and plush and soft touch. We have a nice kind of grab handle style hook here, but it also serves as some storage, and we have a large bottle storage on the side door panel down here, speaker, and we have our window switch as well as privacy glass, which is a nice touch. Before we hop inside, we have these nice aluminum side sill plates here, and we have our hybrid battery vents still on the side. Let's step inside the new RAV4. Thankfully, that's actually really easy to do, and let's have a listen to our door thunk. I would say it's okay. Could be a little bit better, but check out this cabin of the all-new RAV4. I have a lot of leg space back here, which is really great. We can see we have the kind of tan beige style interior of this RAV4. And in addition to this leg space, I also have a storage cubby behind my front driver and passenger seat, which is a really great touch. Now, we also are getting our own center console space over here that has heated outboard seats with just one stage, and these cool little labeled 15-watt USB-C ports in the rear, which is really nice to see. We're also getting our own air vents back here, which is great, and that's about it. There's a very small hump in the floor. It's really nothing too big. I would say it's just like the height of my shoe, and what that means is that, yes, I could actually sit in this center seat without being super uncomfortable. And you can see if I crunch my legs together, we actually have some decent amount of space on either outboard seat. So if you did want to shove 3 kids back here, you definitely could. But the seats themselves are actually pretty squishy and comfortable. This is on Toyota's, faux leather style, like soft tex material. It's not actual leather, but and honestly, for a faux leather, it's not too bad. It is perforated, which is nice, so you're not going to be dripping in sweat in your seat, which is cool. But we have some decent headrests over here, which are nice and squishy. I don't believe these seats. Oh, they do. Okay, they actually recline a little bit. You can see these seats can recline. I haven't tested that out just yet. So a nice live on camera scenario there, which is pretty cool. And we do have a center armrest over here, which folds down. And we have 2 large cup holders back here, which is really great. And this is also nice and squishy. So this RAV4 Limited interior is rather nice, and what's also rather nice is we're getting these really bright LED lights back here as well, which really illuminates the whole rear cabin. But what also illuminates this cabin is this huge panoramic glass roof that thankfully is a lot bigger than it was before, and we have a much thinner center support bar, which just means Toyota has found other ways to strengthen the chassis than have a gigantic bar over here. And this does still open and has a power sunshade that closes it up as well. So these rear seats are rather nice, but this is not the whole story of the all-new Toyota RAV4, as the entire front end is dramatically different than before. Now, hopping up front in our RAV4, again, we do have keyless access on these front doors. No power folding mirrors. I would have liked to see that on the Limited trim. I'm not too sure why Toyota did not include that. I believe the Mazda CX-5 does get that. To open up our door, and again, just as we saw on the rear, we have these really nice large door panels here, and these seats again are pretty comfortable up front. We have power adjustments, power lumbar, and I like the design that Toyota is doing on this new interior seat. But the real big story here is all the new technology. So let's hop inside. So folks, let's talk about Toyota's new interior. Up front, off the bat, we have an all-new steering wheel design, and shockingly, even though we don't have leather seats, I believe this is a leather-trimmed steering wheel, which is kind of funny. It doesn't really feel like leather, but that is what it said in our description for this vehicle. It's very blocky-esque shape. We have a very squared-off airbag cover here, though they have simplified the buttons and controls, and generally it all feels pretty quality. Left-hand side, we have controls for our digital cluster, which is all new, volume and track controls, and we even have on the right hand side all of our adaptive driving assistance functionalities there, which all work really great. We have a nice turn stalk over here. We do have our fog light control, as well as automatic high beams and automatic headlights. We also have a wiper control here that is automatic as well. Some physical controls over here. The dash structure design is pretty cool, very minimalist, I would say. We have this soft touch material wrapping around the upper portion of the dash. The rest of it is all rather kind of cheap, scratchy plastics, but that's kind of what you expect in most of the vehicles in this class, other than, say for the Mazda CX-5 or even the, the Volkswagen Tiguan for that example. But the rest of this is all pretty nice. I love this new digital cluster. Toyota has fixed a lot of our old complaints with this new digital cluster, and we have a pretty large heads-up display on this Limited trim as well, which is really nice. Speaking about this cluster, they've simplified the design, the layout, the graphics are clearer, it's better, and it's all in this new kind of floating panel, and it's a lot easier to see through our steering wheel. So if I kind of cycle through our panel here, you can see we have a whole bunch of different views, and I kind of like the graphics on here. It's really pretty crystal clear and nice. They've also kind of centralized a lot of the icons that used to be all over the place, from our seatbelt icon, EV stuff, that's still over there, but they've kind of condensed all of our driver assistance information into this one little bubble there, thankfully. Also new in this entire vehicle is this whole center console structure is completely rethought. So now we're getting two wireless charging mats that are actually mounted in the dashboard and on an angle, so your phone's not gonna shoot out here. I don't believe these are ventilated, though we do have another huge storage cubby right down here that is have a rubber mat on it, which is really nice. Nice normal air vents, soft touch material on the dash as well, and we have these very large drive mode controllers here. So the left hand side will change our drive mode. So we have eco, sport as well, and custom mode. I love the graphics that Toyota is doing on these. We also have an EV mode, as this is a hybrid nowadays, so you can actually pop it into EV mode if the battery is full at very low speeds. And we have a normal mode as well, and trail and snow mode. So you can also pop it into a trail mode, as you can see on our gauge cluster there, and a snow mode. So that will kind of optimize your all-wheel drive system. Other great stuff on the center console, we have two 45-watt USB-C ports. I like how these are labeled 45 watts, so these are pretty high powered. We also have an updated 360 camera that finally allows you to actually see the vehicle in a normal view while you're in park. Before, you press view and it would just do this like loop-de-loop thing. Now you can actually, use your 360 camera as intended while parked, which is really nice. We're also getting an auto park assist functionality as well on this RAV4, which works okay, I would say. It's not the most advanced system. The hill descent style mode there and traction control off switch. Large cup holders that are illuminated in this particular one, and you have a divider here that you can remove. You have a really, really big cup that has to go in there. You have a little bit more space, or if you want to use this as storage and not cup holders, you have that versatility to do so as well. This particular Limited trim has this very slim and trim shifter knob over here, so we reverse, neutral, drive, and a B mode as well, which is sort of like engine braking style mode there. This is pretty fine. I have no issues with it. Again, a lot of hard plastics, but I'm glad that there's not a lot of gloss black. That scratches and collects dust and fingerprints really easily. This feels a lot more durable, though. I wish the solidity of this whole structure was a little bit more stiff in this new RAV4. Now, in the center armrest section over here, we have a very traditional style Toyota armrest, and it's, I would say, a little bit on the harder side. I wish there would be a little more squish there. So you can also actually make this a sort of table style design. I believe I need 2 hands to do this. So if I pop it this way and this way, it actually comes off, and now you can have it put this way. So now you have a sort of like table, I guess, in your center armrest instead of the actual center armrest there. Kind of cool. But the other great thing about this is that it's a huge center console area. So you actually have another USB-C port in here, a 12-volt socket, and the bottom is felt lined in this limited trim, so things aren't going to get too scratched up in there. But I do like this unique innovation, I would say, in the center console storage section. It's kind of cool. And also over here, I love how we actually have storage in the dashboard. Really cool touch. So you can actually shove stuff in there, which I think is a great touch on this RAV4. And we still have a large glove box that is lockable with the key as well. But again, some of the materials over here are a lot of plastic style materials, but I think the design and the structure and the layout of them all work really well. It kind of comes together and it feels very nicely put together on the visual front. We're also getting that digital rear view camera with HomeLink integrated, and you can turn this off, of course, if you like. If you're not a fan of this, you can just make it a regular rear view mirror. But I love these. Once you get used to them, I never want to go back. So Toyota has fixed quite a lot of stuff with this all-new infotainment system that I did not like with the past one. For starters, we have a home screen, and that was my biggest complaint with the last system, is that there was no home screen. They fixed that. So we have an actual home screen, we have a map, we have our music here. It's really quick as well. They upgraded the processors, the whole software backing is new, and I love this card style design here, from weather to your drive modes. It all, I think, looks really well. We even have these cool graphics even for our drive modes on this display. Really quick to move around. You can customize this. And what's also great is we have our built-in navigation system, which works, I would say, really well. It's really quick, sharp, responsive to the touch. And what's also great is you still have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto available in the vehicle, so you can just throw that on there and never really have to interact with this. But thankfully, it is actually pretty decent to interact finally. So you can have a few different audio sources as well to kind of play around with in here, which is great. You can select your source, including your phone, obviously, as well. Spotify, you can sign into in the vehicle. And what I really like is they really fixed the whole menu structure of this all-new RAV4. So popping into our menu settings, no longer are those kind of confusing side panels that dig into a whole bunch of menus. Now it's really well laid out within settings. So for your vehicle settings, for example, you can go into your lights. It's all much more clearly laid out. I even have a drive recorder, so we have a built-in dash cam as well, which is really nice. So you have a storage on here. You can record different clips and set your preferences to that. Wi-Fi hotspot, some sound adjustments here for our JBL audio system as well, camera settings. So it's a lot of really great restructuring of this whole system. And what I also really like is even the driver profiles are a little bit clearer and easier to use. I love this little widget menu over here as well. You can see quick access to CarPlay or your safety systems or Wi-Fi. It's all really great. And you can even quickly change the screen view from bright to dark. And the new climate settings may be largely in the screen, but I actually think they work really well. We have some physical buttons here, so for our temperature adjustments and defog are all kind of fixed still, but we have this really nice fixed climate panel here. It's very simple to use, so adjusting your fan speed, it's really quick, it's super responsive. Same thing with your temperature adjustment. You can do it on the screen if you want. Heated, ventilated seats are automatic on this particular RAV4 Limited. Automatic steering wheel heating as well if you would like, or just, you know, make that your own personal adjustments. And to open up our full climate panel over here, you can still do so to make some more adjustments, but you really can just put it in auto and forget it. And in our upper portion over here, we do actually have a sunglass holder, which thankfully is felt lined, so your sunglasses won't get scratched up, and a nice little panel up here that we can adjust our panoramic glass roof, our sunshade, and we can open up our visors. Do they slide? No, but we do have a little extension here that kind of covers almost this whole portion. Thankfully, though, these are LED lights, so they didn't kind of skimp out on that department there. So thankfully, Toyota is listening to us in some areas. But overall, this is a colossal upgrade to this interior. Nice 60. It's quick. You know, it's not a slow powertrain whatsoever, and I think that's a really great thing to see. 236 horsepower is pretty respectable nowadays. We'll pop it, we'll leave it in sport mode for a second. Steering actually stiffens up in sport mode. And the handling largely doesn't feel dramatically different from the last generation. This isn't an all-new ground-up architecture. This is the very familiar TNGA-K platform we've seen on quite a lot of Toyota and even Lexus products, though it has been refined for this generation. I would say it feels a little bit more confident in going around a corner than before. You still have that really high centered of gravity style feeling. You do sit really high in these RAV4s, and that is the same in this particular generation. I do feel like I'm sitting really high. You have a great amount of visibility around you. This is my lowest seating position actually right now as well. And this is where the refinement of this hybrid powertrain comes into play, is around town situations. Toyota is making some of the best hybrid systems in the world, so good that they're packaging it and selling them to quite a few brands now actually that are also using them, which is pretty cool to see. But it just because it's reliable and it works. You get great fuel economy on this RAV4. On normal trips, I always am getting like 35, 45. If you're going really, really slow in around town situations and can use EV mode, maybe 50 to 60 miles per gallon. It's really crazy. But once you learn how to drive this, you will be saving fuel. 100%. I've been driving this now for a week, and I had, I think, 535 miles of a tank. I only have 484 miles on our tank now, so it hasn't gone down that much either, which is really great to see. But efficiency aside, this is overall a very smooth vehicle. The suspension, it feels a little bit more put together than the last generation. I feel like that last generation had a little bit more wobble going on into it. I could feel a little bit more low frequency bumps. This has been a little bit more rounded out, which is nice to see. The steering, it's a RAV4 at the end of the day. This is not a driver's vehicle in this class. And at the end of the day, none of the vehicles in this class are really supposed to be driver's vehicles, though there are some standouts in that regard. But this is a very, I would say, not vague, but lighter steering than expected. Let's try an acceleration here in normal mode. Whoa. Yeah, the electric motor, that electric motor pull, you really do feel that pull here is quite noticeable, and it does a great job of putting traction down. I've only had one case where a little very quick amount of front wheel slip, just because that front end is getting a lot of power with both the combined engine and that e-motor, since those two rear e-motors are separated from our drivetrain. You can hear that external hybrid sound there. Very light hybrid sound, but that is required by law. Now, in those situations right there where you really are accelerating off a start and the engine kicks on instantly because you need full power, it is still pretty of a smooth process overall. Braking performance is actually really good. I have no issues with this brake pedal at all. It's pretty good with feel. It doesn't feel like I have to press deep in to get a lot of brake force, so I have no complaints there. We don't have any sort of paddle shifters or any manual selection here, which I think is completely fine since this is not a real transmission. Yeah, but this has no issues getting up to speed at all. It's peppy and quick, and you feel, it almost feels turbocharged in that aspect with those electric motor boosts in there. It's actually rather pleasant of a feeling, I have to say. Blind spot warning on the highways, which is great. And as you can hear though, this is where I wish there was some more refinement. And this goes for every single Toyota that has, even Lexus honestly, but they do a better job at canceling out the sounds, that has this powertrain. It's a very loud engine. The engine itself is a very, very loud under acceleration. And not only is it loud, you're getting quite a lot of vibration coming through the steering wheel itself and to my hands and at my feet through the pedals actually. So there's just a lot of drivetrain feedback in that regard coming through those areas. Not the best drivetrain feedback. I wish that was a little bit more dampened out for this generation of RAV4, especially since it's only a hybrid now. But once you are up to speed, it's generally pretty quiet in here. All the windows are pretty large, but I think they do a halfway decent job at kind of canceling out a lot of sound. We have a huge panoramic glass roof in this particular one, and if I cover the shade, I notice that it actually gets a little bit more quiet in here, which is also quite nice to see. Now, we do have a radar adaptive cruise control as well on this RAV4. This is the latest version of Toyota's Safety Sense systems here, which all work really well. I'm impressed with this system this week. If it was able to do, you know, hands-free style driving in every scenario, it only can do it in the traffic conditions at low speeds. You can take your hands off the wheel, but it's a really great, very trustworthy overall adaptive cruise control system. And we do have lane change assist. Oh, it's doing it. So we are actually now in traffic jam assist. So traffic jam assist, I can take my hands off the wheel, as long as I'm looking forward, of course. Okay, everyone, we got out of that horrific traffic that we were in, and because of that, we are now doing 55.9 miles per gallon, which really cannot complain about. Though what I was gonna demonstrate for y'all before was our lane change assist. So you have to have your hand on the steering wheel, though you can just tap your turn indicator stalk right here lightly, and I would double check always, but it does a lane change assist for you very quickly. Very cool visuals on our dash over there as well. I want to talk about this JBL audio system because we've been in quite a few Toyotas this year, from the new Prius to the new Toyota C-HR EV, and they all have JBL audio systems, supposedly the high end, and I didn't think they were that good. I actually did not like them at all. In this RAV4, this new JBL system, I think, is actually quite good. Is it on par with Mazda's Bose level systems? Maybe not there, but it is, I think, better than the Audi Q3 that we just came out of that had a upgraded premium Sonos speaker system. So, yeah, this is a better system than the Audi's Sonos system. Why? Well, I have much clearer bass levels. I feel like all of our highs, mids, bass, everything's a little bit clearer than that Sonos system. Is it the most amazing audio system that we've ever tested? No, not really close. But for a general audio system, I think it's actually pretty good. And just wrapping up our week with this car, you know, everything I've really mentioned in this drive and in our full tour and review really holds true. It's crazy efficient, it's comfortable, it's tech-filled. I mean, the tech in here is so much better than previous. I really do like it. It has all the features you need and want, and it has that Toyota reliability that's going to be really dragging you out through your entire ownership process, handing it down to your children and just keeping it in the family until it keeps going on and eventually stops. Maybe at 1,000,000 miles, who knows. But overall, you know, this is a pretty good buy. This is the top spec limited trim. It's around 46 grand as tested. These RAV4s start at like in the low 30s, so you do not have to get this whatsoever, and you're still going to get that pure powertrain experience. It's really one of the core reasons you're looking at this RAV4, is that dependability and efficiency that is kind of unmatched right now in this entire space. There's a lot of dependable vehicles, but that get as efficient as this RAV4, that list shrinks to near zero. Some get close, but this does a really good job at doing so. Could be a little bit better in the driving dynamics and the refinement of the powertrain under throttle. I would love to see that infused in the RAV4, but I guess they're never really going to do that, as there's so many other vehicles within the Toyota and Lexus family that use this platform that kind of have to have some room for that actual, you know, maybe leaning more handling and more dynamic wise. But all that car talk nonsense down the road, this is a pretty good solid vehicle. Thank you for Toyota for having us a go in this for the week, and thank you all for watching yet another full tour review and POV drive over at Allcarnews. And as always, stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.